All right, so now we've got the logo done. So what we're going to do is we're basically going to set up multiple pages. You can determine how many pages you want to do. I just want you to do at least a couple. Once you set up one page, the other ones will be relatively easy. It won't be like that big of a deal. Okay, so we're going to go to pages up here. And what you will notice is that we have, okay, uh, is that we have this thing here, right? So I have this. Now, if I wanted to, like, let's say I wanted to take this and I wanted to put it, and this is kind of likely. Let's also make this a little bit easier to work with. I'm going to click and drag across the whole thing. I'm just going to go to Object afterwards and Group. And that's going to make it act as like one thing now. A little bit easier to work with. But let's say I want to take it and I just want to shrink it, right? So I have to hold Shift because we're in InDesign now. Control Z, that doesn't seem to work that well. So let's go down here. Sorry, Control and Shift. See, even I forget. I keep hitting just Shift. So let's say I want to put it on the bottom and then have my artwork up here. And then we're going to put a next and previous button. That's basically the goal here. Okay. So what I would do, don't do this, I'm just showing you. You can put your logo down there if you want, but don't do this next step. I'd create a new sheet, right? So there's the next sheet. And then what I'd have to do is go to this one, double click on it. I would select this, Control C, and go, then double click on this one, hit Control V. Now when you hit Control V, it pastes in the center of your view. This is a good trick. If you hit Control Shift V, it will paste in place. Or not. Let's try that again. Control Shift V. All right. Maybe it doesn't work in here. It works in other programs. Let me see. Control C. Control Shift V. Oh, it didn't work. Okay. Let me see. Paste. Oh, Alt. Control Alt Shift. Okay, this one's a little bit different. Usually it's Shift Control Shift V, but they want Control Alt Shift V. That's a lot of hotkeys. All right, Control Alt Shift V, and that will actually paste it where it previously was. Okay, but I have to go through and do that to every page, and that's super annoying. I don't want to do that, so I'm just gonna delete that, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and delete this page. Okay. What we're going to do instead is that we actually have these masters up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this here. I'm going to Control X. So Control C is copy. Control V is paste. Control X is cut. Okay. And I'm going to double click on this master here. Okay. And then I'm going to do Control V because I don't really care right now. And I'm just going to put it down where I want it. Like so. And we'll just... You know, I keep doing that. I gotta do Control and Shift. Super annoying. Okay, and then I'll just make sure it's centered. Okay, good. Now, what I want you to notice is, because I did it on this master, I double clicked on this, and then I put it on this one. Now, when I go here, notice it's here. I can't even, look at, I can't even do anything with it. And if I were to click a new layer, or a new page, every subsequent page is going to have that. Basically, this master page is a page that populates all the other ones. So whatever's on that page is going to be on all the other pages. Now, I don't understand why it's giving me two facing pages. Just use the one on the left, and it will obviously use that as the guide there. But so it'll automatically populate, which is really nice. So good, right? So I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna double click and stay on the master here. And I have it down there. So the other thing I want to do basically is this. I want to make buttons that go forward or backwards, right? So, you know, when you're in, what we're going to do is we're going to export out an interactive Adobe PDF. InDesign can export out, obviously we did it earlier, but basically the main use of it is to export out page layouts that you would then print for a printed page, right? So printed media. But it can also do digital media. So it has basically three primary things that it does. Okay, so it can do PDFs, and it can do interactive PDFs. It can do Epub, which basically means electronic publications. So basically ebooks, that sort of thing. Okay, so like an e-reader would read it, and then it can also do web. Okay, the web one's a little bit different. It's a little bit funky. We're not going to do that. The EPUB is really only useful if you're actually going to put it on something. We can't really even use it on the computer. So we're actually going to do the interactive PDF. It does matter which one you choose because when you do this next part, the interactive parts, it's only some of them will only work in certain ones, and then certain ones have certain options that the other ones don't. So like you have to make a decision of which one of those you want to use. You can't be like, oh, I want to make a button for next and then just output it to all of them, which is kind of annoying because you think that they would. Some of them will work on all of them, but some won't. You'll see in a second. Anyway, we're going to do the interactive PDF. Now, when you open up a PDF, obviously you can click, I think there's like, you can hit page down, and I think sometimes they might have a button or something. But if I were to open it up like, you know, on a mobile device, right, which is kind of common, I wouldn't have that option. So we're going to make buttons that you can click and it will go to the next page, which, you know, gives a little bit of a nicer look. That's basically what I'm going to go for. So we're going to make previous and next buttons, and that way we can just use those buttons to go back and forth. Okay. Exciting. All right, so let's go ahead and make our button. So I'm just going to use my rectangle tool here. I'm going to switch to properties. Make sure you're on this master one. And I'm just going to go ahead and draw a box. Super great. I'm going to change the stroke to nothing, although I could probably leave it because it's not like you're going to be able to see it anyways. I'm going to do the fill. I'm just going to go ahead and do black because I'm just keeping everything real simple. And then what I'm going to do is click off with the regular. Okay, didn't think I did anything. Click off. There we go. I'm going to select it, and I'm going to control +++. Notice also that when I have something selected, when you hit the control plus, it actually goes towards it. I think in Photoshop it just zooms in wherever you are, so just be aware of that. Okay, so I'm going to hold Alt and click and drag just to make a duplicate, and then I'm just going to take this one, and I'm just gonna. Oops, I didn't want to hold Shift, and we'll go like that. Call that good. I'm gonna grab the side to rotate, and I'm gonna hold Shift as I rotate it, just once, so it's this way. And then all I'm gonna do is go to my delete anchor point, and I'm just going to go ahead and delete this anchor point. You can probably see what I'm doing. Oops. Go to my direct select tool, and actually, I'm just going to select this guy. Delete. It won't let me do that. Okay. Delete that one. Come on, get out of here. Get out of here. All right, that didn't work. All right. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab this, and I'm just going to move this over a little bit with the arrow keys. We'll call that good. Okay. Grab the whole thing, pull it over here. I'm just going to hold Control and Shift and scale it up. Just trying to make an arrow. What I suggest, though, when you go to do yours, don't just do an arrow. Do something cool. Like if you have like a frilly design over here, just go ahead and put like a little, like a little French curve, right? Or maybe your design has flowers and put like a flower and then the next is inside of that. Or if you're like doing a truck moving company, maybe make it look like a wheel or a truck or something. I'm just doing really super generic here. Probably could do something more creative, but I'm just going to do an arrow just so you get the idea. All right. So I'm just going to go like that. I'm going to select them both, and I'm just again going to do that thing we did before with the Pathfinder. So Object and Layout, Pathfinder, and we'll just do Combine. That is fantastic. Next, what I'm going to do after that is I'm going to use my Type tool, and I'm just going to write. Oops. Oh, sorry, I didn't draw the box. Keep trying to click it. We're just going to write next. And what you should do is make that the same font as your under font, right? You could also use your main font, but I think it'd probably be better as your sub font there. So I just did the generic Minion Pro or whatever, so I'm just gonna go ahead and use that. But yeah, okay. So I'm like that. We'll double click. Just gonna go like this, and we'll make it a little bit bigger. And I'm just going to cut it out of this. Yeah, I'm just going to cut it out of that. So I'm just going to go ahead and first I'm just going to outline it, create outlines. And then that looks a little bit small. Hold Control and Shift to make it a little bit bigger. We'll go like that. I'm going to select that and this. And I'm just going to go ahead and cut it out. Good. So now it's all one piece. It's one shape. And actually, that was a bad idea. So I'm going to undo that real quick. And we're going to do it again because I need to do a next and previous. I wasn't thinking. So let's put that up here. So I just hit Control Z a bunch. Control and double click. Control and Shift. That's probably about right. Yeah. So we'll say that. I'm going to hold Alt click and drag, and then I'm going to double click on this one and just write previous instead. Previous. Okay. Let's see if we can extend that to be long enough. Okay, and we'll just double click. Oops. Cool. Click on that. Double click on that. I'm going to select both these, Control Shift, just so that they will both fit. I just want to make sure this fits in here. Let's make it a little bit smaller. Okay. So I got next, previous, and my artwork. I'm going to take this. I'm going to hold Alt, click and drag it up. So I made another duplicate. With it selected, I'm going to hold Shift as I rotate. And I'm just going to rotate in the other direction. Sorry, one more. There we go. So now I have this one and this one. And so we'll do next. I'm going to put this guy up here. And we'll just go ahead and do object. Sorry, type. Where are you? Create outlines. Create outlines. Select both and cut it out. Good. Take this one, slap this guy up in here. And I made it a little bit too big, so I'm going to hold Control and Shift and just go a little bit smaller. Ugh, I hate that. It's like snapping. Okay. Then we'll just do object, type, create outlines again. Great. Both of these and cut. Good. So now we have previous and our next button. So we have the two graphics. Again, they could be whatever you want. You could literally just have an arrow. I just put next and previous. That looks acceptable. All right. So I'm going to put previous over here, and I'm going to put next over here. It's pretty sophisticated stuff. Okay. So I got previous and next, and they're lined up, and I would spend more time and make these look nicer, but I don't want to spend a bunch of time on it. Just, you know, you get the idea. All right. So now what I want to do is I want to actually make these do something, okay? So we'll start with next. I'm going to select next, and then if you go to window, you'll see a interactive section, and then there's a whole bunch of stuff up here, okay? Some of this stuff, like I said, works, and some of it does not work. So it's sort of, you know, what you would want to do. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do one thing first. So don't select that one. I'm going to select my logo. You might not want to do this, but I just want to show you that this exists because this is kind of useful too. So, again, interactive. So like animation, for instance, that only works with the, I think it might work with web too, but I know it works for Epub. Basically, like there's little, you know, when you're in, if you've ever done PowerPoint, you can have like text fly in or like fade in, or like it'll zoom bigger and smaller and like things like that. Like just those cheesy little animations that they'll just go, oh, it's basically that. They're just pre-canned little animation clips that you can plot, that you can apply to, basically your objects. But that doesn't work with the PDF, so that's one of those things that doesn't work. Bookmarks, what that allows me to do is that if I have a page specifically that I want to have a button that you can always click to that always goes to this bottom one, I could have that on there. So for instance, I could have a button here that says like contact information, and when they click it, it's like the last page. And what I could do is go to the last page, make a bookmark, and then when I make my link, I could hook it up that way. Maybe I'll show you that afterwards. But anyway, some of the stuff will work, some of it won't. So where's my interactive? All right. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and add the buttons and forms. Yeah, buttons and forms. Sorry, I was looking at some of the other stuff there. Okay, so I got this selected. So the type I want to create is just a button. Okay. And then what we have next here is we're basically creating what's called an event handler. All right. And an event handler just basically means that it's a listener and a function pairing. So basically what will happen is it's going to listen for something to happen. And when that happens, it will run a function, and a function does stuff. So if you're used to any sort of coding or anything like that, you'll be semi-familiar with basically it's the stuff that does things. So if you have a game, it's the thing that makes it when you push a button that it jumps. If it's a calculator, it's adding two numbers together, right? So that's the functions are like kind of the actions of code. but the listener will listen for certain events. And in this case, we can choose what it's listening for. So we can do on click, on rollover, on roll off, on focus, or on blur. So if you do on release or tap or on click, quite frankly, it will work on either or. So if you do on release or tap, it will work on here just like it would. And if you do click, it would also work on mobile, because when you go like this, it's the same thing as click. So I don't know why they really, I mean, there is a difference, I guess, but we'll just leave it on release or tap. So that's going to be our listener. And then our action, which is our function. If you've done any coding, yes, you would understand what that means by that. But we're going to click on that guy, and then we can say these are our actions that we are allowed. Now, again, like I said before, these ones are only available to Epub, and these are only available to PDF, okay? Yeah, but we're not going to use any of these. We're actually just going to use these top ones. So on this one, what I want to do is I actually want it to go to a URL. So I'm going to click on Go to URL. And then I can choose the URL I want. And in my case, I'm going to make it, oops. And apparently I have caps lock on. I did not know that. teachmecone.fly. Is it flywheelsites.teachmecone, or is it? I can't remember now. Yeah, no, it's teachmecone.flywheelsites.com. Okay, so now when I click on this, it will actually open up my browser and it will go to this website. Now this is super handy because let's say a good use of this is, let's say you're applying for a job, you can make this PDF and you can put all your pictures in it, which we'll do at the end here, and then you can send it to them, and then they'll get in an email. But if they want to like go to your website or go to something, or let's say you're making a flyer, you could have these links in here that like when they click on it, they'll actually go to a web address, and you know that could be kind of cool if you're trying to send them to something like, oh, I worked on, let's say you're a web designer, right? You could send them this thing and then maybe have like examples of your work, and then when they click on it, they'll actually go to the websites that you created. Right, so there's all, or maybe you have a YouTube video you want them to see. You can click on it and then just link the URL of that website. Okay. Now there are some other options here, so you can see there's rollover and click. Okay, so I can turn this back off again. Basically, what these are is that when I hover over it, what does it look like? So if I do rollover, I have it selected. What I can do is there really aren't a lot of options. Basically, you can change this stuff with it. So maybe when it's rollover, I have it, come on, Phil. I'll have it, I'm just going to make it red just so it's easy. Oof. It's terrible. Don't like that. Oh, you know why? Because it's a group. I shouldn't have grouped it. Wow. If it was, it'll work with these fine. You know what? We're not going to bother doing that. I'm going to turn that off. I'll show you on these because it'll work better on these. Okay. Because I grouped these together, so it's trying to do the whole thing, and this is not looking good. Anyway, so basically it's that. I can change the name up here, but honestly, or not there, sorry, here. We'll just call it logo button. It doesn't really matter. That's just for me. It's not going to matter. So basically now, when I click on that, that's what's going to happen. So I'll click off. I'm going to click back on this guy now, and now we're going to add one to this. So again, I'm going to click on it. It's going to be a button. And then we'll just call it, it doesn't really matter. We'll call it next button on release or tap. And then what do I want it to do? I want it to go to next page. Woo. Now, I'm going to go ahead and do the rollover and click this time. On rollover, I'm going to go ahead and do, because you notice how it had a question mark here before? I'll make it red. And since it's only this one fill, it'll make it red. And then on click, I will select. Come on. And when I click on it, I'll have it turn blue. Okay. Yay. So basically, it has those and you can actually add more than one action as well, but I don't really see the point in that. So now I'm going to select this one. I don't know why that still says button 2, but select this one. And we'll go ahead, again, do another button. And I'm just going to leave it at that. I don't really care. On release or tap. Yep, actions will say go to previous page. Yay. And then I can do a rollover. And for the rollover, we'll just do the same thing. I'm just going to make it red. Obviously, you can put in custom color or whatever. Didn't want that, sorry. Double clicked it. I don't really care about doing custom colors. I'm just trying to get to work. So again here, and then I'll just do the cyan. And good. Okay. Now, That works. Okay, so let me just show you. They do have a preview thing. So if you go to Windows, I don't really like it to be honest, but there's this Epub Interactivity panel preview. Okay. Well, that's lame. All right. Never mind. It won't work anyways. But you're going to see that all my subpages are now auto-populated. Okay. So what I did on that first one is now on all these subsequent pages. Yay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a couple more pages. Okay. And what I would like you to do on yours is up top here. So this will be like our starting page. I'm just going to go ahead and I am just going to put, Jonathan Cohn. I'll just say, terrible teacher. That's my occupation. And then you can reach me at 111-222-3333. And then we can put like, oops, I thought I hit enter. One Seahawk Drive. I don't know what the address is of the school, but put the address there, and then you don't have to put your actual one because I don't really care that much. I don't know. Hang on a second. Let me just make sure everything. There we go. Seemed to be something extra there. Okay. Double click. There we go. So we'll just leave a white blank page to start with, and then what I would do here is I would start putting my drawings in each one, right? So I'll just go ahead and do File, Place, and I'm just going to grab random pictures I've been drawing, just because I don't have anything else to do. So let's see. Let's see. There was one I really liked that I did. This one's my favorite that I did this week. So I'm just going to go ahead and place my picture in here, and it's really big for some reason. I'm just going to go ahead and make that smaller. So, all right, so that'll be one drawing. So then I'll just double click to go to the next one, and I would do File, Place, and we'll just grab another piece of artwork. So, let's see. I don't think it really matters. I like pizza. There we go. Put that one in here. So there's another one. Okay. So that's my dude saying he likes pizza. Okay. And then on the bottom page, we could put, I'm just going to put text in here just so you get the idea. I'm just going to put like my resume. So I'm just going to write resume stuffs. Right? And then blah, 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 blah. All right? Good. So if you want to put any kind of resume stuffs in there, that's fine. We can put that in there. And then, actually, where are we at? We're kind of out of time here. Don't want to make these too long. So what I could do is put that on there, and then we would have our stuff here. Okay, I'm going to end this video and just make another video because there's a couple other things I just want to show you real quick, and then we will then we'll be done with this. All right.